Hi friends, myself Prateek. In this session we are going to discuss conditions and if statement in Python. The concept which we are going to discuss in this session will be same in most of other programming language. For example, if you are working in C, C++ or Java, the concept of conditions will be same. So there will be small variation in the syntax, but the overall concept will be same. So this session will help you to understand the use of conditions in a programming language. And for this session, we are using Python as a reference. Let us start this session. Let's start with our first program, which is to find the greater of two numbers. Let's suppose we have two numbers like this, and we have to find out the greater of these two numbers. So in order to find out the greater of these two numbers, you have to compare A and B. Whenever you have to compare something, you have to use if statement. In Python, you can use if statement like this. So if A greater than B, then we have to print A, else we have to print B. And that in Python, the indentation is important. So here you can see that we have indented print A under if condition and we indented print B under else part. It means print A will be executed if this condition is true, otherwise B will be printed. Let's execute these statements. So you can see that the output is 3. If we make this number greater, so if A is greater, then the output is 21. So this code worked perfectly fine. But what will happen if two numbers are equal? So you can see that if two numbers are equal, then this else part will be executed, and in this case we are getting the value of B. Let's suppose we have to convert this into a function and we have to find out the greater of two numbers with a function. So in order to create function in Python, we have a syntax def which is used to define the function. So here the name of the function is greater. We have to pass two numbers. So let's suppose my number is first number comma second number. So we are specifying our numbers. Within this body we can use if statement. So in this case I have used a greater function by passing two parameters, first number and second number. Here I am comparing first number with second number, and if first number is greater I am printing first number, otherwise I am printing second number. Here I am calling this function by passing value 3 and 2, and if I execute this, you can see that we are getting greater number in the print. So this way we can create a simple functions which can take two numbers and can print the greater of two number. Now let us extend this code to find out the greatest of three numbers. Here first of all we are doing this without using any functions so that you can understand the concept clearly. In order to find out the greatest of three numbers, we should have three numbers. So let's suppose I have three numbers like this. So first of all I need to compare A with B and A with C. So we can use AND operator in our if conditions. So here this if condition is comparing A with B and A with C. If both the if conditions are true, it will print A. Similarly, we can create other if conditions like if B is greater than A and B is greater than C, then we are printing B. And same way, if C is greater than A and C is greater than B, then we are printing C. So let's execute these statements. You can see that we are getting 21. It's working perfectly fine. So you can test all possible cases. So this time B is greatest and this time C is greatest, and this is working perfectly fine. Now let's check what will happen if all the numbers are equal. So here all the numbers are equal. So when I executed this, you can see that I'm not getting any output because no print statement has been executed. So I can add equality conditions in these if conditions so that it can capture the case of equality. I can add these equality operators in these if conditions. It means that this if conditions will be true if A is greater than or equal to B and A greater than equal to C. Let us check this code for these inputs where A and C is 29 and B is 23. So we are getting the largest number as 29, but it is printing two times because this time this first and third if conditions are true. So that's why it is printing 29 two times. If all the numbers are same, it will print the largest number three times because every condition is true, and that's why we are getting 29 three times. but this code still works. And you can see that here we are running 3 if conditions. If first condition is true, it will print A. Then it will keep on going and it will check second if condition. If this condition is true, it will print B. After this, it will remain in the code and it will check for C. And if this third condition is true, it will print C. It means code is executing all the if conditions one by one. After printing A, it will print B because it will compare second if condition and it will also execute third if condition. So here it is executing all the 3 if conditions. It's important to remember that whenever we write a code, it should be accurate as well as efficient. This code is of course working accurately, but it is not that efficient. Let's suppose this input. In this case, we are getting 29. If we follow the execution closely, after executing first if condition, the code will still execute second and third if conditions because we are using 3 if statements. So once we know that the A is greatest number, there is no need to execute second and third if statement. The control should come out of these if statements. Similarly, let's suppose the number is like this. First time it should compare A with B and C. If it is not true, it should compare B with A and C. And if this condition is true, it means that B is the largest number. So there is no need to go with third if condition. But this code will execute each and every if condition. So my point is that this code is accurate, but this is not efficient. So in order to make this code more efficient, we have something called as else if. So let's improve this code with else if statement. So here I have simply changed second and third if condition with else if with syntax elif. So what this means, it will first execute first if statement, and if this condition is true, it will not check second and third if condition. The second if condition is executed only if first is false, or third is executed only if first and second if condition is false. I am again repeating, the second if condition will only execute if first if is false because it is else if. So second if will execute only if first is false, and third if will execute only if first and second if is false. Let's suppose if your first number is greatest, so in this case it will execute only first one and it will not execute second and third one. We can't see that by inputting these numbers. In order to understand it properly, let's give these two numbers equal. So let's give this input. I hope you remember that when we have first two numbers equal in our earlier code, we are getting 29 two times because it executed first and second if conditions. Now in this case, let's give the same inputs and execute this code with else if. So you can see that 29 is now printed only once. Here the first if condition is true, it will print the value of A. It will not execute second and third if statement because it's part of else if, and this time you are getting 29 only one time. So the code has been improved. Let's suppose we have all the numbers as 29. Earlier we used all if conditions. So if we used all if conditions, then 29 will appear 3 times. But in this case, if all the numbers are same, we implement this code with else if. You can see that 29 appear only once because it will execute first if statement and it will not execute second and third if statement. So this code is now much better, improved, as well as it's efficient. So this code is more accurate and more efficient as compared to using separate 3 if conditions. It's better to implement it with if else if statements. So I hope you got this idea. This is all about this session. We will be discussing this concept further in our next video session. So please join next video session to learn more on if else statement. All the code discussed in this video session is available in the description of this video. You can directly use this code to practice this concept. Thanks for watching this video.